The Toronto Blue Jays are making moves as we have multiple surprising Jays updates to go over today, including one that is going to have massive implications not only in the upcoming week, but the rest of the season into the playoffs. We're going to dive into exactly what that is and discuss what this means going forward as well. See very encouraging prospect updates surrounding Trey Savage, as well as a few comments that has fans fired up. A ton of moves, a ton of updates to go over today, folks, and a ton in this video. Stay tuned till the end of it before you get into it all. If you're a part of that percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. Your support has truly been unbelievable, so thank you guys for that as we're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. Folks, what a game it was last night. I had a video on it. It's lost, though, within that game was not only the fact that, of course, Eric Lauer struggled a little bit, but some new updates that came out. And boy, oh boy, is it interesting. And they're continuing to juggle the puzzle pieces here. And let's dive right into it. The Blue Jays are officially going to push José Berríos' start back a few days per John Schneider. Rotation versus the Brewers will be Bieber, Gausman, Scherzer, and then Bassett and Berríos will start the Red Series. So, folks, on the surface, this may look, not that crazy. This has huge implications going forward because they are now setting themselves up for not only the series against the Yankees, not only the series against the Brewers, but starting to slowly get themselves set up for the future series heading into the playoffs. Now, it's Friday, Bieber, of course, off day today, and then Gausman and Scherzer. Now, this was supposed to be Berríos. They're bringing Scherzer on 5 days rest, essentially. And you can see this here. The Jays have said they're looking for ways to keep pitchers fresh, so this isn't a huge surprise. Bieber, Gausman, and Scherzer then line up for the Yankees series too. And, of course, they're going to try to spin this move in a way of, okay, they're pushing José Berríos back to the Red Series, for extra rest. They're doing it because A, they want their aces out there against the Brewers, and B, they want their aces out there against the Yankees. That's clearly what it is. That is what the play is being. And at the end of the day, folks, they're at a point now in their season where you have to win every single game. Now, regarding José Berríos, he definitely has been struggling a little bit as of late. This is no secret. A lot of the rotation has, outside of those three really have been struggling. And Eric Lauer, coming off 11 days rest, he struggled yesterday. We'll dive into that a little bit later. But this six-man rotation thing is a little bit weird. And I'm going to be curious to see now how José Berríos does with that extended rest. Because if he goes out there and he struggles mightily in his extended rest, then there might be a problem here going forward for how they handle this. But what matters most, Bieber, he's on a couple of extra days rest with the days off day. He was supposed to go technically yesterday. They pushed him to Friday. Gausman, pretty solid rest. Scherzer, I think 5 days rest there. So, you look at the, bullpen use that was, put out yesterday and the way that Eric Lauer pitched. 3.21 ERA heading into the game. Yesterday was sub 3. He was one of the best Jays starters. They move him to the pen. He has that weird warm-up day a few games ago and then obviously didn't pitch and now comes out and gives up 4 home runs to a poor Minnesota Twins team. And really 8 runs, 6 of them were earned. And the defense obviously didn't do them any favors. But you're at a point now where this Toronto Blue Jays team, they need pitching. And you saw it yesterday. They let Eric Lauer ring it out. He gave up 8 runs and 6 of them earned, but 98 pitches. And they were going to let him go to 100+ pitches because he had so much rest and because of the fact that they need their bullpens, arms good. At the end of the day, folks, they're pushing the rotation back. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. I love it. You got to go for wins now. The Yankees are 4 games back. They're right on your tail, but right in front of you, you have the Brewers, and no other team in the AL East has, Yankees or Red Sox are going up against teams above 500. So you got to make your, this series and this weekend is going to be massive. If you can win 2 out of 3, you win the series, you're going to be in a fantastic spot going forward, especially as you still host the Yankees and the Red Sox. So you're playing both. I don't know if they're away or home. I think they're home for both, but let me know down below what your thoughts are. Now, speaking of, starting rotation and things like that, we also saw a Trey Savage appearance yesterday at AAA, and he struck out 5, 1 run in 4 2/3 innings, 83 pitches. After a pair of walks and a double bit him in the first inning, he responded by allowing just 1 base runner the rest of the way. Folks, Trey Savage, the way that this bullpen has been rolling, and I'll have a full video covering this. Yes, it had a decent game yesterday, but even then, it was still a bit of a fight. There's a real world here where you could see a world where Trey Savage is the guy who gets called up when the rosters expand on September 1st. Now, again, it used to be, not way back in the day, a little bit ago, a few years ago, 40-man, rosters in September, we'd see everybody coming up. Think back in 2015, you had everybody getting called up. Dalton Pompeo ultimately made a huge difference in the, series against the Rangers. All these different things, right? The LDS. What matters most is, most importantly, that the Toronto Blue Jays, of course, prioritize his development. But if they think he can make a huge impact going forward, specifically into next, the next few series, after September, of course, September's a few days away. There could be a world where we see Trey Savage. Now, obviously, they have their internal evaluations. What are we seeing with him? What could be obviously the big, pull here? Is he going to be ready to go. He's still struggling a lot with walks, and that's a big thing that has been an issue for him for a while, especially as he enters these new levels. Walks has been the biggest struggle. However, he's starting to look really, really good. His strikeout potential is unbelievable. I was going to say it's infinite. He basically can strike out anybody. And that might be what they they bring him up for in the bullpen, replacing guys like Justin Brewer or somebody else, and maybe just add him on instead of Braden Fisher. As crazy as that sounds, things like that are possible, and that's obviously going to be what's very interesting going forward, especially given the fact that they're you're managing the rotation so much. Start to manage the bullpen here you soon as well, especially with how bad that bullpen has been as of late. It's I don't think it's going to happen, but it's very, very possible that it does, especially with all of John Schneider's comments as of late. Let me know down below. Do you want to see a Savage in? Do you want to see, somebody else? It's going to be interesting coming September 1st. Now, let's dive into the game last night a little bit. Most importantly, some of the comments. Now, John Schneider said, it was a big win. That was loud. That was an electric atmosphere. These guys do not quit. They don't give a blank who they're playing against. They don't care what the situation is. I love it. And something else kind of lost here is Ernie Clement. I didn't cover it in last night's video. Ernie Clement's dealing with like a fracture in his hand and stitches on his shin, and he's still getting ready to pinch hit, pitch run, be a defensive replacement. He is an absolute dog. We saw Alejandro Kirk pinch hit yesterday as well after dealing with that hand injury that his hand blew up. It was really big. X-rays came back negative there. Both of those guys are good, and I kind of ties in perfectly. The team never quits, and this is a special year with a special team, and I truly believe they can beat anybody, and that's why the weird series where you lose 2 out of 3 against the Pirates, you win 2 out of 3 against the Marlins, and you're about to lose 2 out of 3 against the Brewers. Sorry, you're about to lose 2 out of 3 against the Minnesota Twins in a series where you should have won game 2. Jeff Hoffman collapsed. You come back, you win, and that's what matters with this. And Detroit lost last night. You can see here for BKA, the A's are beating the Tigers 5-0. If Detroit loses, we are guaranteed a meeting at the top of the 2 records in baseball Friday night for the Bieber and Peralta showdown. Folks, it is going to be an absolutely unbelievable atmosphere on Friday with Shane Bieber, and it's going to be crazy. So super excited for it. A couple other things here. Ty France, just a little bit of lore here. He picked up one of the Addison Barger's old bats, and then he hit a homer in the 8th. Of course, that was yesterday's big homer. So Barger used the exact same bat for his game-winning double minutes later. Haven't seen the bat since last year, and he had a homer with it. I was like, oh, shoot, I'm just going to use that. Use that he did. Shout out to Ty France. Shout out to Addison Barger, who not only was his double yesterday to win the game, basically going to be obviously a huge win. I think that's going to help elevate. He's a young player, right? I think that's going to help him bounce back and get out of his head a little bit. He was really scuffling, and to have a big hit like that does wonders beyond just, of course, the win and the stat line there. But folks, that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. A lot of new reports coming out, a lot of new updates. Most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, we're entering the what last year was the dog days of August as the team was horrible. This year, we are entering a pennant race that we've been looking forward to for over a decade. That'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are beasts. Cheers.